Alright, welcome to part 3 of the paint pot. Part 3, what we're going to be doing, if you left click you have one dot size. So part 3, what we're going to do is set up two buttons so that you can increase or decrease the dot size. And we'll be using or setting up a variable called dot size. And when you think of a variable, think of it as a container that holds values. So we can set a specific value for the variable that can be called on anywhere in the program. So to get started, let's go ahead and go to the layout and drag in a horizontal arrangement, and let's set our width. We'll go ahead and put our width at fill parent. That way it'll take up the whole side there, and we'll leave the height on automatic. Go ahead and drag your white button up there on or inside the horizontal arrangement, and then go to layout, and under our layout, or I'm sorry, user interface, we're going to drag in two more buttons. These will be our plus and minus button. So button 1, let's rename it. We'll name it button plus. Remember, you don't want any spaces in the name. And then under properties for our plus button, let's go ahead for the text, put a plus sign. You want to select button 2, we'll rename that button minus, and put a minus sign for the text. Once you have your horizontal arrangement set up with the white, the plus, the minus, let's go ahead and open up our blocks. Okay, so what we're setting up is when the canvas is touched, draw the circle. The R value is static, so we have it set for 5, a certain number. We're going to make it dynamic so that it will change. Okay, and in order to do that, we need to set up a global variable. So we're going to go to variable, and we're going to select the block that says initial global name 2, and we're going to change name to dot size, and then we'll give that a value. So we'll go to math and the number, and we'll just give it a dot size of 2. Alright, so we've set up a global variable called dot size to 2. And if you hover your mouse on where it says dot size, you'll get the block that says get global dot size. And we're going to replace our 5 with that variable. Okay, so the R value now will get whatever the global dot size is. So right now it's set at 2. Alright, so now once we have that set up, let's go ahead and set up our plus and minus buttons. And at this point, if you haven't connected to your emulator, just go to connect, and I'm going to reset my connection and either connect to your emulator or your phone. And I'm going to pause the video while this is loading here, and then I'll come back and show you guys how to set up the buttons. Okay, so let's set up our plus and our minus button. We're going to go to the button plus, and we're going to select the block that says when button plus is clicked, do this. We want to select the variable, so we want to set the variable. This is global dot size. So when we press the button, it'll set the dot size to, and we're going to use math. So under math, we use the plus sign here. We want to set it to the dot size, so we'll get global dot size, and we're going to add an amount to that. So I'm just going to put the number 1. That way it'll add 1 pixel in size each time we press it. So I'm going to open up my emulator. I'm going to hit the plus button. I'll hit the plus button, and each time I hit the plus button, it's going to get bigger by 1 pixel in size. Alright, so once we have that, let's go ahead and finish up by doing the minus. So when the button minus is clicked, we'll go to variable, we'll set the global dot size. This time we're going to use the subtract. So let's go to math and we'll subtract. And we're going to get the global dot size, and we're going to subtract 1 this time. So I'm just going to copy this. Oops. Control C, Control V will copy. And let's test it out. So if I click it a couple times, it's getting smaller. Boom. Alright. So now we can adjust the size of our dots. Yay. Awesome. So once you have that set up, go ahead and show me so I can give you credit for it, and you have just created your first global variable.